All right, what's happening? It is John Tilley, the founder and CEO of ZonGuru, and welcome to Live Tuesday Teardowns. This is a new series that we're presenting on LinkedIn and on YouTube Live. It's going to be a jam-packed few minutes where we're really looking at the opportunities on Amazon. What, from a product perspective, what are the opportunities that are being missed? How can we unpack that, show strategies, tactics, and help you as both sellers, brand owners, or agencies really scale on this amazing platform called Amazon. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about what to expect in this series, and then we're going through a live example today, unpacking it. Remember, if you are watching live and you have questions, this is a perfect time to ask the questions, and we'll answer them live on this session today. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so as I said, welcome to Live Tuesday Teardowns. This is happening at 10 a.m. PST every single week, or that's 1 p.m. EST on Tuesdays. So jump in, schedule it, mark it down your calendar. You can join, and you can join live too, and we can unpack your listing if you like. So what's in store for this series? So the first thing is, as I mentioned, analyzing and unpacking opportunities that are missed on Amazon. So that's pretty wide. There's going to be a bunch there for us to really focus in on. One area that we truly are going to focus in on is one of our areas of expertise, which is the latest in search engine optimization, to align with LLM optimization, to align with agentic engine optimization. You know, what is the type of content that should now be produced to ensure that you get the most visibility on Amazon and potentially beyond. Watch the space. We'll talk about that more as well. But certainly there's going to be a lot more in terms of how we help brands scale and what kind of strategies we look at. We're also going to be showing some of our new beta tools, which will be coming out, unpacking them live, showing you how they work, the opportunities that are unveiled, and how you can use these to help you grow. It's not all going to be about me and ZonGuru. We'll have guests that will come on. We have a really cool guest coming on for next week. Bringing on those founders, those experts, to really look at one of the challenges they're seeing and the opportunities that they can unpack there live. And you can ask questions and engage with us there as well. And yes, there's going to be a few unpopular opinions that we'll be sharing every single time we come on. And we'll start with the first one, which is going to be leading us today in this conversation, which the unpopular opinion here is, with the rise of Rufus, and Cosmo, keyword optimization is not dead. I hear this every single day. Everyone's like, oh, it's changed. It's not about keywords anymore. It's about natural language. Keywords are dead, and that's absolutely not true. And I'll explain to you why, in a few minutes. But I think the key there is keyword stuffing is dead for sure. Looking at very specific exact match keywords is absolutely dead. But this idea of natural language and semantics, but guided by the principles of keywords, is absolutely critical, right? Which is just to remember, like, at the end of the day, like, as much as Amazon is trying to, get into product research and experiential research, where people can come to the platform and, search around experience or get recommendations and find products that they're not necessarily looking for. Ultimately, this platform is an intent-based platform. People are coming there, they're typing in keywords, phrases, and they're using it as an intent to find a product that they want, and they're buying it, right? So Amazon still ranks based on search intent, and it's going to be that way, for forever, right? Yes, it's going to extend beyond that, but it absolutely is intent based. And so, the game has changed how you optimize for that, but not the actual goal. And I would say, it's not about stuffing your bullets. It's about matching intent, context, and conversion signals. So the ultimate thing is that keywords still matter, because it is the strongest signal for any of the algorithms that are out there, right? So giving it a guideline. You guys are all using prompts in your agentic models that you're using. That actual keyword that you put in there is a strong signal and a guideline to help to inform the algorithm of what you should be ranking for, right? So that's I guess an unpopular opinion. It absolutely matters. It's probably the strongest guideline you have, but how you then evolve that into an actual listing is changing, right? And then obviously the semantic side of it can pick up and expand beyond just the actual keywords, phrases, and broad match keywords that you have in your listing. Okay, a little bit about ZonGuru. If you don't know who we are, we have been around since 2017. We ultimately are a set of tools specifically to help you grow on Amazon. And we have evolved our tools to be very AI forward in our approach, and specifically really focus around our leading tools in our tool set around Amazon SEO. We've had many firsts in the space, everything from being the first to integrate with OpenAI, contextual SEO, the type of keywords that really are relevant for a localized market. The first to be Rufus optimized. These are things that you can get within our platform on a self-serve basis. And certainly if you're a bigger brand, you can engage with us on our software with the service as well. Get in, check it out. There's a free trial. You can check it out anytime. Let's jump in. So this is the example that I want to touch on today. This is a niche that I was looking at with a partner of ours, and I saw some interesting stuff here. So I've grabbed a random brand in the niche, and we're going to look at this and look at the space. The keyword and the buyer intent keyword is natural soap for eczema, an eczema-based product. You can see this one in here, Natrulo. I don't know them; they're not one of our clients, but I'm looking at their listing. The price of $6.99. What's interesting is that they have their, this is one of those niches where it's a price, but there's also a per ounce cost, and that is a really important thing. That we've tested, and that in these types of spaces, people use that as a signal for purchase, right? Which is not just what is the actual price that you're seeing in the discount, but what is your per ounce cost, right? And there are some tricks around that to make sure that you have a really good per ounce cost, which can also help with the purchase. But the one pack is the one that's ranking as a child for a lot of these keywords, but they have a 3-pack as well, which is great, right? So this is the listing. I'm going to jump out of this and just jump into Amazon for a second, and then we'll come back to this and look at some data that we have around that. But I want to give you a little bit of some of the high level thoughts that I have here. I just want to double check that everything is going out. Yep, we're streaming perfectly. If I'm not, please let me know in the comments. So this is on Amazon, right? Great. Interesting products. Certainly photoshopping on the packaging, made in USA. I guarantee you're not going to get that in the actual package when you get it. I'm pretty sure, but there is some flexibility in license, and that is a strong search intent or customer intent they're looking for in a product, especially in the space. You can obviously see how it's being used. They do something good here, well, great in the sense, and we still see that today, that customers buy with their eyes, but when you look at the carousel, calling out the main priority benefit on each of these slides is not being done properly by a lot of brands. This brand does a good job, relieves itch and irritation, protects and hydrates. You can see that's the main one, but they have other ones underneath that. No harsh chemicals, safe and effective ingredients. So they've done a pretty good job in that sense. They have the video, they have their content, a pretty decent title at the moment. There's more natural language that can come into that, and we're going to get a lot more into that in some of the following series after this. But they're certainly not keyword stuffing, which is great. And they have a good listing, A+ content, etc. Right? So this is the brand. Now, what is the space that they're competing in? This is it, right? Natural soap for eczema. You can see all the brands that are appearing here, right? This one, some are pretty similar, some are slightly different. Natural style looking bar, very hard edged, which I think is an insight that I'm going to touch on in a second. You can see the products here. This looks more kind of clinical, I would say, in its approach, which is great. This looks pretty harsh with, kind of, it feels like it's going to be pretty rough on the skin, right? So I'm trying to think about the actual, person that would be buying this type of bar, someone who has really dry skin, some eczema. They're wanting something that soothes and nourishes, right? We have a tool, we're going to talk about this later as well, that really pulls in, customer insights. What are they actually looking for, right? And this is certainly something that someone's looking for, is something that's obviously nourishing in its approach, right? So how do you stand out from the different brands on this page? They all look pretty similar in a way. The immediate thing that I did, this is another brand that was on the page, pretty similar, right? They're kind of pretty much copying each other. That was the what I wanted to look at here is like, if you look at this image, like it's looking pretty similar, right? They're very similar. They're copying each other. Where I went is like, this is it's always in this approach, right? Which is, look at some of the bigger brands, not just on Amazon, but beyond. And what have they been doing? This is obviously, the Dove bar has been in the space for a hell of a long time. They've put thousands into their research, and that's why they came up with this creamy style bar, a quarter moisturizing cream. You can see the image over here, a smoothish bar. It feels like it's almost a moisturizing bar, right? They have this nourishing skin view. And when you go back to look at these brands, right, over here, look, everything looks pretty hard, right? It's a hard edged bar. It's, you can see everything here. It just doesn't look like it's going to be, it almost feels like a bar that you just put in your bathroom for guests, but not really something that you use on a daily basis. And I would say that's probably the insight that I would pull away here. And the guys that do the best, and I know these guys are one of the better brands, not necessarily specifically in the space, but in general around this natural soap, is this Australian botanical soap. And you can see in the image, right? Look at it. They've gone with the natural. There's an imprint on the bar, but they've even smoothed out that top layer on the actual shape of the bar, right? Maybe they could do a bit more on the sides, but immediately that's giving you the feel of softness, right? It's put it on a hand, right? This is a great image that's really going to, communicate softness, nourishing, and they have obviously the lather visual in here, right? These are the kind of things that I would be doing if I was this person owning this brand. I would certainly look at the before and after, nourishing, show the lather, show a softer. I mean, you can even in this image, it's like pretty hard, right? I mean, it's a terrible image. They've just, it's a bad Photoshop job or AI, but it's a really hard hold of that bar. It's not soft. It doesn't feel great. And these are really important indicators to make sure that you've got a better brand that can help you with human conversion as well as algorithmic conversion. Remember, in every single one of these images, the algorithm is reading what's in that image, right? Take your image, drop it into ChatGPT. It's going to tell you what it reads in that image. It's the same on Amazon, right? So what are the cues that you're giving it? What is the copy that's been put in there, but also what is the image? How soft does it feel? Nourishing before and after. These are really important things, different experiences that will be important for Rufus, for Cosmo, and for human and algorithmic conversion. Very critical to help you grow. Okay, so that's some insights that I wanted to share just in general around the image, around the product. Certainly the ounce. I think that's another important thing here is like you can see there's a $6. They're leading with that. Obviously, it's ranking on the child, and the 4 ounce pack is actually a cheaper cost. So maybe you could even be a little bit more loss leader on this product, have a lower ounce product cost, but maybe have a 3 and a 4 pack, right? And push your ounce price up. I mean, surely if you're coming in on the one click with the lower ounce, you might click on it more because it looks cheaper. You have a bundled product with a few more in there. You end up buying, the 3 or 4 pack with a better profitability on that, right? So that's obviously something you should look at when you're creating your variations on the page. Okay, so I want to go back into, looking at, and I want to make sure that everyone can see this. I'm going to go over to this presentation here, and I want to show you, we have some technology that really looks at the keywords that you index for position 1 to 200, right? So for every single keyword on Amazon right now, you want to see how you index for those. Yes, there is semantics and there's things that go beyond that, but understanding truly like, hey, on that intent-based search, what are you actually indexing for? Within Amazon is critical, right? And so what we look for in that is not only where you rank on keywords, right? But where is the actual rank potential? What is the low hanging fruit where you're not actually ranking? So beyond the buy zone. So page 1, we know that that's the place where most people are buying. But beyond that page 2 and beyond, what are the keywords that you are indexing for and ranking there that Amazon already recognizes you as a great baseline keyword that could be semantic in its approach as well. But that baseline keyword is being recognized, but you're not quite appearing on page 1. But therein lies the opportunity, because that's the one that you can move quickest and fastest to page 1, appear for that intent-based search and get that click and conversion, right? So, we identify that. We look at relevancy, volume, competitiveness. And then the idea is like, hey, once we've identified those low-hanging fruit opportunities, how do we use all the levers that are available to us on Amazon to move that keyword into the buy zone so you can get the organic, most profitable sale, and obviously the best one for the algorithm as well. Price, promotions, ads, SEO, right? There's a trick. So that's how we do things internally with our reporting, with our tools is, yes, what are all the levers and how do you use them to get on the flywheel on Amazon? But how can you see them through the lens of your organic sale, right? Because the organic sale is the most profitable, but it's the one that also is best for the algorithm and ensuring that you rank best over time. Okay, so this is a bit of the secret sauce of like how we look at it. The first one being, this is estimates again, but we can see across that brand how many keywords you rank for on page 1 to 25, how many in position 26 to 50, and how many in position 51 to 200, right? So on that parent ASIN, you might be doing 48,000, from those organic keywords. But what this shows you is some of the potential of what this could truly be, which is like, hey, if we moved all of these 105 keywords to page 1, it would move from 48 to 85,000 a month, right? And if we moved all 709 from the longer tail keywords to page 1, you would get 377,000 a month, right? Now, clearly you're not going to move all of them, but the trick is to understand the true potential of all the keywords you rank for right now that you index for, and then looking at the most relevant ones, especially in the low hanging fruit side, and seeing, hey, what are the ones that have good conversion rates that we can start to move using PPC over time, and obviously listing structure, and get you that organic sale over time. So this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, which is in this report appearance here, which is like, hey, here's all the keywords, here's your position, your search volume, and now here's all your impression data from your PPC, right? And then also importantly, are you running ads on it? And then is that actually appearing in your listing, right? Is there a quality score match between that and the rank and the PPC? And we also add conversion rates at the end of the day. So if you can align those things, which is like, hey, this is a keyword that is in position 51. Hey, by the way, there's no impression data, no ads, no match, but you can add the match in your listing, in a broad match specifically, or obviously even if it's in a broad match and the semantic AI has picked it up and you start to index, that's great, but we'll be able to pick that up. Do you run ads on it at the right conversion rate? You can start to get that keyword growing into the buyer zone and getting the organic sale, which is best for obviously profit and for the algorithm, right? This is the thing that we're managing and understanding. When can we push, when can we pull, and how can we get you into a better position and start to create that halo effect, that flywheel effect, and grow your brand over time. Again, if these are things that you're interested in, you can just contact us. We can run them for you, or you can access the reports through our subscriptions, right? Okay, so the other thing is what I wanted to show you, and I'm going to jump into ZonGuru right here, is ultimately those are the keywords that I showed you that the brand is indexed for. What's also important to see is like how many of those relevant longer tail keywords is it not being picked up by the algorithm yet? For whatever reason, your listing isn't structured in the right way, or you don't have impression data coming onto those keywords, and therefore you're not indexing and not ranking for those, right? And so what is the opportunity outside of what you just indexed for that you could improve on, right? And so this is run for natural slope for eczema. This is one of our strongest tools in our tool set called Keywords on Fire. It is the best tool set from finding the localized current keywords for a marketplace and giving you context of how your competitors compare to those keywords. These are the keywords that you should be for sure broad matching and ranking for over time on Amazon. So here's all the keywords, right? And what I can show you is, hey, let's look at all the non-branded keywords, right? 421, or even the most relevant keywords, which are 104, right? The total TAM value on a monthly basis is 467,000 out of 5 million, right? So out of these keywords, which ones does your brand actually rank for? And I can scroll down to the brand, or your brand, let's just say, this is it over here. Again, you can see the other brands that are ranking well here, but I can go to not ranked and say, hey, I want to see, all the keywords that's not ranked for in the top 100 positions, let's just say, right? So really ones that you're not indexing for yet. We can even go further, but there's 64 right here, 230,000 in value. These are the keywords that you could actually, save for and start to add into your listings, and therefore get better rank for some of the keywords. Now you have to look through it, make sure they're relevant, save it, and you can upload it. Now you can also use these keywords and multiple keyword lists to optimize for using our listing optimization tool. We're going to jump a lot more into this in future teardown sessions, and just looking at before and after on listings. I've just run one. Basically, what's cool about this tool is you can add the most relevant keywords. You can actually add competitors to see how they actually score, and you can see their optimization score. This one, the Eczema Honey is actually badly optimized, and this one, this was actually the brand that we looked at, not well optimized at all. This one that we looked at is actually well optimized, right? And you can see how it's broad matching on a lot of terms, which is not overstuffing, but it's also giving the signals to the algorithm to help you with some of that longer tail semantic matching as well, which is really important for Amazon. You can see the listing here, how the keywords are being used in the whole listing, the content, the descriptions, the backend search terms. You can see everything on these listings. And then I just ran one in AI. It's really easy for us. You just got AI generates. You can put in some settings, and you can generate a listing for that specific market. It takes literally a couple of seconds. I've just generated one here, and you can see the score is 20,000, right? So higher than every other listing here. The most important thing is forget about what that score means at this point, but it's higher than your competitors, which means from an overall perspective, you are better optimized for the algorithm, for Rufus, for the longer tail, more experiential type keywords, for semantic style approach, for natural language, and therefore you can, you have the best baseline to then optimize on, and then go from there. And you can update this. You can manually update this. You can change it. You can look at insights. You can add additional things, get it to where you need to, and you can publish it directly to Amazon through our platform. So these are things you can do within the platform to ensure that you have a better listing. So, those are some high-level things I want to show you. Now, if you want to access ZonGuru, you can jump on. These are some things you can check out. Listing AI for Rufus, image AI analysis, keyword AI generator, PPC AI transparent bidding engines, and then we have some beta tools around a bulk SEO agent, which we'll be sharing in the future. If you want to access this opportunity report, like I just showed you, where we can give you that data, you can simply go to this link and fill out this form. So if you go to zonguru.link/growth audits, or if you just want to go to zonguru.link/20, you can access our software for 20% off, or zonguru.link/EP. These are all links that you can go to access our various solutions on Amazon. The EP one is obviously for agencies, but on the qualify for growth audits, the page is simple. It looks like this. You can access it from ZonGuru, and you just fill in those details. It will send a trigger to us, and then if you qualify, we will then run that for you for free. And you can look at the data, and we'll send you the actual reports for you to look at as well. That is it for today's session. I hope there's a lot of value in that for you. We certainly are excited about this approach of getting on here, sharing some thoughts and some strategies and ways that we know work really well in terms of optimizing your brands and your products for growth on Amazon, for that more profitable growth. And certainly if you have questions, put them in the comments, and we'll be looking at that. We'll be responding. And if there are ways that you want to go live, just put them in the comments. We can have a chat, and certainly you can come on and we can look at your brand together and really give you some live feedback as well. So lots coming up in the future. Again, it's John Tilley with ZonGuru. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week, 10 a.m. PST on Tuesdays, or 1 p.m. EST on Tuesdays, same time, and we'll see you there. And looking forward to the guest who's coming on next week to really dive into some more future ways of optimizing for Amazon. See you then. Cheers.